Everything they tell you is a lie. Putting your faith and all your energy and focus into this one person, whether it be on the left or the right or third party, it's pointless when you live in a corrupt system. It's like everybody's operating on these false beliefs that the system isn't rigged, and that our votes actually matter, and that the people that are going to be elected are actually going to do what they're going to say they're going to do, which never happens. So we have to start thinking outside of the box that has been created for us, because no doubt this political system and this paradigm here in America, it's been created to keep us in a box, to keep us disempowered, to keep us from realizing real freedom and real harmony. Good day, America. Mason here with Soul Shift and Insight, and today we're going to talk about the election coming up. The last election taught us a lot of things, but for some of us that already knew, elections are rigged, if you didn't know. Elections have been rigged for a long time, and I hate to break your bubble. And I know you're probably like, well, there's no evidence that that's real. There's plenty of evidence if you pay attention, but they're not going to tell you. They're not going to put it on the TV. They're not going to put it on social media. They're not going to print it in the newspaper. You have to actually go and seek this information. But yes, elections are rigged. And unfortunately, I see this pattern that a lot of Americans are stuck in, which is this 4-year cycle of like, okay, we're going to get this person in office and they're going to make everything right again. And we're going to wait and we're going to put all our energy and focus on one person changing our life, and getting really fixated and caught up and attached in the election and acting as if our votes actually matter. I know it's kind of a disheartening thing to hear. You want to believe that your vote matters, and that belief is based upon a false belief that and false perception you have of your own government. If you actually understood all the several things that the US government has done within the past 100 years, let's just say 100 years, really since World War II, if you were really aware of all those things, you would know that this government it's not here to protect us and to uphold our rights and do the right thing. It's not here to do any of that. It's here because the people in power, which it's the same people that have been in power, and their family members and their lineage and their people that they associate themselves with, those are the ones get elected, and those are the ones that become members of the cabinets that are elected as well. So you have to understand that our democratic republic that we have, or we think we have, what was originally intended for us, is not what we have today. Okay, what we have today is an oligarch. We have the same families and the same people of those associated with those families running and getting elected, right? And everyone wants to say, well, Trump is outside of that. Trump's not outside of that. Trump's not outside of that circle of people. And if you think that, I think that you are misled, highly misled. But even if Trump is a good person, you're misled because you think that Trump's going to be able to change things, and he's not. He's had one term to prove to us all that he's not able to drain the swamp. However, we're still fixated on him draining the swamp and making America great again. And for other people on the other side of the political spectrum, you're also getting caught in the same trap, thinking that this one person is going to fix these countries' problems, when it's all of us coming together and making and doing our things that we can do individually to make our community better. And that starts with, how can we make ourselves better as a person? It starts with an internal shift. But America is blind, and we're sleepwalking into fucking World War III. We're sleepwalking into Armageddon and apocalypse. And if we want to avoid calamity and certain things that will inevitably happen if we don't stand up for ourselves, if we want to do that, we have to start coming together and putting our differences aside and unifying. But there's so much division in our country because nobody can see past their own bullshit, and nobody can like just compromise. And so We think that these presidential candidates are going to do it. They're not. Let me just burst your bubble. The person that's going to be president has already been chosen. The person that's going to be president is already chosen, and that person, that president, is not going to have any power on actually changing and reshaping this country towards however you think you would like, whether it's the left or the right. So, and if taught us one thing, right, it's that political power seeks to do only one thing, and that is to preserve and consolidate that power. And that's what they did during, right, with the lockdowns and all the mandates and all the different things they were forcing us to do globally. And you should really pay attention to that. They were able to do it globally. They were able to get every government on the same routine, the same path. And that is, it could be good if our government and our leaders were in good hands and they were good people with good heads on their shoulders and good hearts. But that's not the case. The people in power all over the globe are people that climb that social hierarchy because they seek power, and they are very much people that want to use that power to their own self-interest. They don't care about you and your rights. You know, if you look at the World Economic Forum, for example, the people in Davos, Klaus Schwab and his whole gang of young global leaders, if you look at those people, they're there as their own self-interest. They're not there to shape a new world that actually benefits people. They don't care about that. I think that's obvious for people that pay attention, but people that don't pay attention, that's not obvious, and you don't understand that. So you do need to understand that political power only seeks to preserve and consolidate that power. It's political power, meaning people that run for political positions. They're not there to take care of you. Everything they tell you is a lie. Putting your faith and all your energy and focus into this one person, whether it be on the left or the right or third party, it's pointless when you live in a corrupt system. It's like everybody's operating on these false beliefs that the system isn't rigged, and that our votes actually matter, and that the people that are going to be elected are actually going to do what they're going to say they're going to do, which never happens. So we have to start thinking outside of the box that has been created for us, because no doubt that this political system and this paradigm here in America was created to, or at least, especially the modern version of the system since World War II, it's been created to keep us in a box, to keep us disempowered, to keep us from realizing real freedom and real harmony. So my question to you is, what does power do in a world increasingly filled with more and more people that are awakening? What does that power do? And there's only one answer. It's world domination. It's tyranny. All right? That's what's on the horizon for all of us if we don't start putting aside our differences and coming together, because when we're together, we have numbers, we have power. All right? And they know this. And they're doing everything in their power through their social influence to condition us into division and divide and hatred towards each other. But what's coming is tyranny, and I can promise you that. If you haven't saw that from, then you are really blind, and you really should pay attention to what I'm saying. And people that understand like me should really listen to us, because we're trying to help you and ourselves and the rest of society. A lot of people think that was this real phenomenon that happened, where this really extremely dangerous was released into the world. And I hate to break it to you, and this is not a conspiracy, this is fact. That was the flu. that was a cold. All right, and they relabeled it, and they put you in fear, and they fucked with your mind. Okay, and it created a lot of mass psychosis, a lot of delusion, and humanity. So it was an experiment by the people in power, the global leaders, to see how far they can push us and divide us. That experiment worked. It worked wonders. And now they're going to try something again, especially with this election coming up. And I invite you to start preparing yourself and your family and your community for what's coming, because I'm telling you, a storm is brewing on the horizon. A reckoning is coming for us all. We're going to have to start coming together. Okay? We're going to have to start putting our differences aside, and we're going to have to stop putting all our focus, energy, and faith in these political candidates. These presidents aren't going to change our country. It's us. Wake up. It's not them. It's us. And in order to do those things, yeah, we have to get a little uncomfortable. We have to break some rules. Okay? So the practical steps are to let go of and understand that your vote doesn't matter. If you can let go of that conditioning, then you're on the right path. And once you start understanding it, understanding what it means for the future, then you start saving yourself a lot of time and energy to put that time and energy towards more important things that can actually set you up for success in the future when the storm comes and hits us. Which, I mean, the elections in November, I mean, we're not that far off. We have a couple months, you know, and no doubt they're scheming their next ways to hypnotize us into believing whatever event they staged, right? No doubt they are creating some sort of event. They're staging an event so that they can sway public opinion into a certain way. And you may think that it's left versus right and that's the real battle, but it's not. That's not the real battle. The left wing, the right wing, they're two wings of the same bird. All right? The founding fathers of America, they had no intention of having a two-party system. But that's what we have today. And the reason we have a two-party system and the reason you can't vote third party and get people like RFK Jr. and or people that actually like Ron Paul when he was running back in the day, the reason those people are never elected is because they have set up this system this way since World War II. Because the people in the Electoral College, they choose who gets elected, not us. All right. Our votes are an afterthought. And that's being very generous when I say that. I doubt that those people in the Electoral College actually give a fuck about what the people really care about. So you have to understand that whatever happens in the next couple months and whoever gets elected, it doesn't matter because the same agenda for world domination and tyranny is going to continue to be played out. And the only way to change that and to direct us off that course of calamity is when we come together and realize that. There's so many patterns to show you that this is the way that they're trying to go down, the path that they're trying to take us all down. You have to start paying attention. And it may seem like this information I'm giving you doesn't matter, but it actually very much does matter. And it's going to affect all of us. So, and this is the reason I go into self-transformation on this channel, is because it starts with you. The change in this country and your community starts with you and you becoming a better person and you reaching out and trying to do better things in your community. And guess what? When we actually try to start coming together and change things, the government has systems in place to prevent and oppress us and suppress us from coming together and changing this country. They have protest laws now. You have to have a permit to protest. I mean, what kind of country are we living in? Everyone, when I was growing up, people were telling me that this is the freest country you can live in. And that's a bunch of fucking bullshit. All right? That's a bunch of fucking bullshit. If I can't go out there and protest without a permit, and even if I do have a permit and I still get arrested, there's a problem there. All right? We were sleepwalking into tyranny. We didn't even know it. It's already happened. All right? With Obama in office, Bush, with 9/11, what happened with 9/11? You started having the TSA in airports. They started going through all our shit, surveilling us, putting cameras everywhere. He passed laws that allowed us to be surveilled by the NSA and the CIA. You know, our privacy doesn't mean anything. They're constantly treating the American citizens as enemies. Domestic terrorists is what they're calling us, which just means people that defy their bullshit. Okay? So start preparing for the storm that's coming now. Do the practical things. Get the canned food. Start getting solar panels. Catch your own water. Learn how to provide for yourself. Make things by yourself. Get your family prepped for what's coming because I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who gets elected. Something very terrible is going to happen. Okay? There's FEMA camps all around this country, concentration camps, internment camps. There's train railroads going to all of them. They're by all the major cities. And the National Guard is being trained to control its own population. There's military technologies being developed, already developed by DARPA, that is able to pacify crowds of rioters and protesters by mere frequencies. All right? With technology and our taxpayer money, they're learning how to completely pacify us and prevent us from rising up. But they can't use all of that on all of us if we come together. So you need to realize that whatever differences you think you have with someone on the left or the right, it's all bullshit. We all bleed red. We all had the same basic needs, and we probably all want the same basic shit, but they've got us so divided on labels and all this egocentric he versus her, pointing the finger gimmicks. You could tell me who you want to vote for, but I hate to break it to you. I hate to burst your bubble, but it doesn't matter. The same agenda is going to be played out. The people really in power, they control power all over the world. They've reached world domination, and if you couldn't see that from, then I don't know what to tell you other than you're living a lie, and you need to wake up. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in another video.